Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're diving headfirst into a world of spooky stories, folklore, and Tim Burton's gothic vision with, you guessed it, Sleepy Hollow.
A fantastic choice, really. When you think about it, almost everyone knows the Headless Horseman, but the movie. Oh, the movie goes so much deeper than just a spooky story.
Right, you think you're getting a simple ghost story, but Burton takes us on a wild ride with this one.
He really does.
So, picture this, 1799, a time of change, the cusp of a new century.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
We're in Sleepy Hollow, this small, isolated village, practically dripping with atmosphere and fog. Can't forget that fog.
Classic Burton.
Totally. And into this scene steps Ichabod Crane, a New York City constable who's all about logic and reason. He gets sent to Sleepy Hollow to investigate a series of gruesome murders.
And this is where Burton's genius shines through. Setting the film in 1799, it's not just a random choice. It's a time of immense change, this tension between the old and the new.
Oh, I see it. It mirrors Ichabod's own internal struggle, right? He's a man of science thrust into a world steeped in superstition.
Exactly. He's about to have his entire worldview rocked. And visually, the way Burton portrays Sleepy Hollow is just masterful.
It's haunting, right? Those gnarled trees, the ever-present fog, the Dutch colonial houses, everything just screams gothic mystery. You half expect to bump into Ichabod Crane wandering through the graveyard.
Don't forget those incredible costumes. The detail is just phenomenal and adds another layer to the whole atmosphere.
Speaking of details, we can't forget about the murders themselves. We're not talking about your average crime scenes here. These are brutal, with heads completely severed, and the townspeople are terrified.
Rightfully so. And let's not forget, these aren't random acts of violence. Each victim is connected, and that's where the real mystery begins.
It becomes a whodunit, with the Headless Horseman as the weapon.
Exactly. We start to see inheritance disputes, whispers of a stolen will, a web of secrets that runs deeper than anyone could have imagined.
And right in the middle of it all is Katrina Van Tassel, beautiful, wealthy, and the object of Ichabod's affections. But something about her family, especially her stepmother, Lady Van Tassel, well, let's just say something feels off.
Lady Van Tassel is a fascinating character. She's a powerful woman in a society that often seeks to silence women. But what are her motivations? What secrets is she hiding? That's the question, isn't it?
She holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of Sleepy Hollow, that's for sure. Just when Ichabod thinks he's starting to get a handle on things, everything goes haywire.
Right. The attack on the church. Man, that's a serious turning point in the film. Everyone realizes nobody's safe, not even in a holy place.
That whole scene is classic Burton. Those dramatic shadows, that flickering candlelight, and then bam! The horseman bursts in, sending everyone into a frenzy. Talk about spine-chilling.
Oh, absolutely. The way Burton uses the church, which is usually a symbol of peace and sanctuary, right? He turns it into, well, a scene of absolute chaos. He masterfully portrays the raw terror that's lurking beneath those charming, picturesque streets of Sleepy Hollow.
You said it. It's like this collective gasp sweeps through the whole town, and it's just a matter of time before, well, you know. But amidst all this chaos, you have Ichabod, still desperately trying to cling to some kind of logic, some explanation for the madness.
And this is where his character really starts to develop. I mean, he's all about science and reason, right? Yet here he is, face to face with something that completely defies those principles. It's like he's being forced to confront the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there are things in this world that even he can't explain.
But he doesn't give up. He's like a dog with a bone, poring over town records, studying the bodies, even venturing into those creepy, fog-choked woods, searching for answers.
And remember that scene in the graveyard when Ichabod finds the horseman's grave, only to discover the skull is missing? Man, that's a huge turning point.
Definitely. It throws a wrench in everything. It implies that someone or something is controlling the horseman, using this legend, this terrifying force, for their own twisted agenda.
Exactly. It's not just some random vengeful spirit. There's a puppet master pulling the strings. And as the story unfolds, all eyes turn to Lady Van Tassel.
Oh man, that's right, the big reveal. She's not just a grieving widow. This woman is a straight-up mastermind, using the Headless Horseman to eliminate anyone who stands in her way.
It's such a brilliant twist, and it really speaks to the film's exploration of power dynamics and how people, especially women, navigate a society that often seeks to marginalize them.
You're right, Lady Van Tassel is a woman in a man's world. She's clearly been underestimated, and now, well, she's out for what she believes is rightfully hers. Consequences be damned. She's definitely not afraid to get her hands dirty.
She's ruthless. You almost have to admire her ambition, even if her methods are, shall we say, a tad extreme. But then again, she did make a deal with the devil. That's pretty hard to top in the going to extremes department.
Oh man, that pact with the devil.
Yeah.
Chilling. It really speaks to her desperation, the lengths she's willing to go to for, what, justice, revenge, maybe a little both?
Yeah.
Definitely both. And that's what makes Sleepy Hollow so captivating. It's not just spooky visuals and jump scares, although it has plenty of those, but it's the exploration of the darker side of human nature that really gets under your skin. The greed, the thirst for revenge, the lengths people will go to for power, it's all there, simmering beneath the surface.
So we've got Ichabod grappling with the unknown, a town on the brink of collapse, and Lady Van Tassel pulling the strings from the shadows. It's a classic showdown between good and evil. But Burton adds his own unique flavor, his own brand of gothic whimsy that takes it to another level.
And let's not forget, the climax is still to come. Trust me, you do not want to miss how this all plays out. It's a wild ride to the very end.
Okay, so the final act. The tension is almost unbearable, and Ichabod finally comes face to face with the Headless Horseman. But remember, the real enemy here is Lady Van Tassel. She's the one pulling the strings, the one who needs to be stopped. And where do they have this final showdown? Oh, just your typical crumbling windmill. Super creepy, super Burton. Those massive gears, the sense of decay. It's the perfect metaphor for, well, everything that's going on in Sleepy Hollow.
And talk about visual storytelling. That chase through the windmill, Ichabod desperately trying to outmaneuver the horseman, the race to the tree of the dead. Every shot is dripping with gothic atmosphere. Burton really outdid himself with this one.
But it's not just about the visuals. It's about Ichabod's journey. This is where he finally puts it all together. He realizes he can't defeat the horseman with brute force. He has to use his wits, his intellect, and, dare I say, a bit of that old-fashioned superstition he's been fighting against this whole time.
And that moment when he figures it out, when he realizes how to break the curse, return what was taken, the skull, so simple, yet so brilliant.
Right. It's like this light bulb goes off and he's like, of course.
Yeah.
But think about it. Ichabod, the man of logic, the skeptic, has to embrace the supernatural, the very thing he's been denying this whole time.
Let's talk about a turning point. And when the horseman is reunited with his skull, the look on his face, there's this mix of anger, relief, even a touch of sadness. It's actually kind of heartbreaking.
It's like he's finally whole again, at peace.
Yeah.
But that peace is short-lived because, well, a deal's a deal, right? And he's still got to answer to a higher power. Literally.
And he doesn't go alone, does he? Lady Van Tassel. She gets dragged along for the ride, too. A stark reminder that you don't mess with the devil and get away with it.
Karma, my friend. It's a real, well, Lady Van Tassel, she wanted power, and she got it, but at what cost?
Exactly. In the end, it cost her everything. So the movie ends with Ichabod and Katrina riding off into the sunrise, leaving Sleepy Hollow and its horrors behind. Or did they? That's the question Burton leaves us with. Did Ichabod truly conquer his fears, or is he just running from something he can't outrun?
Right, because he's seen some things, experienced things that defy explanation. Can he just go back to his old life, to logic and reason after all of that? Or has Sleepy Hollow changed him in ways he doesn't even realize? It's something to think about, that's for sure.
It certainly is, and that's the beauty of Sleepy Hollow. It's more than just a horror film. It makes you question, makes you wonder about the nature of belief, the power of fear, and the darkness that lies within us all. I give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. You?
Oh, I'm right there with you. Sleepy Hollow is a masterpiece of atmospheric storytelling and those classic Burton-esque visuals. It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll. And hey, it reminds us that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves.
Truth. So listeners, we want to hear from you. Have you taken a trip to Sleepy Hollow? Did you make it out with your head? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Tim Burton's Gothic masterpiece, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the spooky fun with your fellow film fans. Until next time, keep exploring those dark corners of cinema, and remember, sometimes the most thrilling answers lie just beyond the veil of reason.